Cold silence filled the dark hall of the alien ship. Only the slow hum of engines broke the stillness. Metal walls pulsed with a strange blue light like the heartbeat of something alive. Eli Vance opened his eyes slowly. His head ached. His arms felt heavy. When he tried to move, metal cuffs pulled his wrists back with a sharp clang. He was chained to a steel wall, his body weak and bruised. His uniform was torn and dried blood covered his chest. For a moment, he couldn't remember where he was. Then it hit him, the ambush, the battlefield, the blinding flash when their ship exploded. He was a soldier in the human defense fleet, fighting the Jaran Dominion. But this was no human ship. Where am I? He muttered, his voice cracked and dry. A whisper answered from across the room. You shouldn't speak too loud. They will hear you. Eli lifted his head. There was another cell across from him, made of glowing blue glass. Inside, a figure sat on the floor, knees pulled close, her head bowed. She looked small, fragile. But when she raised her face, Eli froze. She looked almost human. Her skin shimmered faintly like glass under moonlight. Her eyes were bright silver, not normal but filled with emotion, fear, sadness, and something else. Who are you? Eli asked quietly. My name is Lyra, she said softly, and you should not be here. Eli looked around. The walls were covered with alien symbols. Strange machines glowed, filled with liquid light. Every few seconds, the ship made a deep metallic groan as if something huge was moving outside. What is this place? He asked. Lyra hesitated, then whispered, a prison, for things that should not exist. Her words made his heart tighten. Things that should not exist? What did that mean? He tried to pull his hands free, but the cuffs burned his skin when he struggled. I need to get out of here, he said. My team, they are gone, she said quickly, her voice trembling. You are the only one alive. Eli felt his stomach drop. He looked away, biting his lip hard. Silence filled the air again, heavy and cruel. Then Lyra moved closer to the glass wall and whispered, Human, listen to me carefully. Whatever happens, whatever you see, don't take it off, he frowned. What? Her eyes were wide now, almost glowing. Promise me. Don't take it off. What are you talking about? He said. Take what off? Before she could answer, the floor shook violently. The lights turned red. A deep alarm echoed through the ship. The sound was like a heartbeat mixed with a scream. They are coming, Lyra whispered. Her voice was full of panic. Stay still. Don't move. Eli heard heavy footsteps approaching. The hallway outside his cell glowed red as shadows passed. A tall alien creature entered the chamber, thin, armored with long claws and eyes like burning coal. It hissed something in a strange language. Another alien followed, holding a metal rod that sparked with blue energy. They walked past Lyra's cell, staring at her like hunters watching prey. Eli's pulse raced. He held his breath. Then one of the aliens turned to him and pressed a panel on the wall. A sharp hiss filled the air. The cuffs around his wrists opened with a click. He fell to the floor, gasping. Why would they release him? The alien hissed again, and the second one aimed the glowing rod at his head. A small drone floated in through the door, scanning Eli's face. It made a high-pitched sound, then stopped. Human specimen, one of the aliens said in broken English. Transfer subject test. Eli didn't move. He didn't even breathe. The alien reached for him, but then the ship shook again. Louder this time. The lights flickered. A huge explosion boomed from above. The aliens shouted in panic, running out of the room. The drone smashed into the wall and fell, sparking. Eli looked around. Smoke filled the air. The red lights turned to flickering white. The door slid open halfway and jammed. He crawled toward the exit, but Lyra's voice stopped him. Wait, she cried. He turned. Her eyes were glowing brighter now, desperate. If you go, take this. She pressed her hand against the glass. A small metal band appeared in her palm, floating, glowing faintly blue. It will open doors, she said. And maybe save you. The glass between them cracked and the band slipped through as if the wall wasn't there. It landed on the floor beside Eli. He picked it up carefully. It looked like a wristband covered with tiny alien symbols. What is this? He asked. Protection, she whispered. But remember, don't take it off. The ship shook again. Alarms screamed. Smoke filled the room. Eli looked at her one last time, then at the open doorway. His instinct screamed to run. But something in her eyes made him stop for a second. She wasn't lying. She was afraid for him, and maybe afraid of herself. He slipped the band onto his wrist. The metal tightened, glowing blue. For a second it felt warm, almost alive. He stood up, staring down the dark hallway. Somewhere deep inside the ship, something was roaring, something huge. He turned to Lyra. "I'll come back for you." She smiled sadly and whispered again, "Please, don't take it off." And then the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the room. The alien alarms had gone silent, but the air still hummed with a strange energy. Eli stood frozen, his breath shallow. The glowing band on his wrist pulsed like a heartbeat, blue, soft, alive. He looked around the broken chamber. The metal walls were cracked and strange black mist seeped through them, moving like smoke with a mind of its own. "Lyra?" he whispered, no answer. Her glass cell was empty. The light inside had died, leaving only a faint mark on the floor where she had been sitting. Eli's chest tightened. She was gone, vanished like a ghost. He took a cautious step toward the corridor. The door that had jammed before now stood half open. Sparks danced along the edges. Beyond it, red lights flickered in the long hallway. The smell of burnt metal and something else, burnt flesh, hung in the air. He swallowed hard and stepped through. Every sound made him flinch. His boots echoed against the metal floor. Far away, the ship groaned, twisting under pressure. Maybe the battle outside was still raging. Maybe no one had survived. He walked slowly, keeping his back close to the wall. His heart pounded hard against his ribs. The band on his wrist grew warmer each time he neared a locked door, as if guiding him. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the corridor. "Human." Eli turned fast, raising his fists. Lyra stood at the far end of the hallway. Her glowing skin faintly lit the walls around her. Her eyes seemed different now, dim, tired, but still calm. "You're alive," Eli said, relieved. She nodded. "Barely, the ship's systems are breaking. We don't have much time." He walked closer, keeping his eyes on her. "Who were those things? Why did they keep you locked up?" Lyra didn't answer right away. She looked around as if afraid the walls were listening. Then she spoke quietly. "Because they fear what's inside me." Eli frowned. "Inside you?" She nodded again, her voice trembling slightly. "They call it the hive. It's an old power. Older than any species still alive. It sleeps in my blood. I was made to hold it, to keep it from escaping." Eli blinked. "You're saying you're some kind of container?" "Yes," she whispered. "And the band you wear, it's connected to me. It keeps the hive asleep. That's why you must never take it off." Eli looked down at the glowing metal. His stomach turned. "Then why give it to me?" Her eyes softened. "Because if I had kept it, I would be dead already." He stepped closer. "You helped me escape. Why?" She smiled faintly, sad and distant. "Because you're human. I've seen humans before. When I was captured. The Zarin fear your kind. They say you never stop fighting, even when death stands over you. I thought maybe, just maybe, you could save both of us." Before Eli could answer, the ship shook again. Lights burst above them, raining sparks. Lyra grabbed his arm and pulled him toward a side passage. "Come," she said. "The escape pods are this way." They ran through the narrow hall. The walls flickered with holographic images, alien runes flashing red. Sirens howled again, echoing through the metal maze. Suddenly, a door slid open on their right. A Jaran guard stepped out, tall and armored, eyes glowing red. It hissed and raised its weapon. Eli reacted fast. Pure instinct. He charged, slamming his shoulder into the alien's chest. The weapon fired, missing by inches. The bolt hit the ceiling, blasting sparks down on them. The Jaran grabbed Eli by the neck, lifting him off the floor. Its grip was like steel. Eli gasped for air. His vision blurred. Then the band on his wrist flared bright blue. Energy exploded from it, silent but deadly. The alien screamed as blue fire burned through its armor. In seconds it collapsed, smoke rising from the cracks in its skin. Eli fell to the floor, coughing hard. His arm burned where the band glowed. "What the hell was that?" Lyra looked terrified. "It protected you," she said. "But every time it does, it wakes the hive a little more." Eli stared at her. "You're saying that thing inside you feels what I do?" "Yes," she whispered. "And it hungers." A chilling silence followed. Somewhere far below, a deep sound echoed, like thunder or a giant heartbeat. The ship groaned again, louder this time. Lyra looked toward the sound. "They're trying to destroy the ship before it escapes. If the hive gets out, no world will survive." Eli clenched his fists. "Then let's get out first," she hesitated. "If we escape, I'll still be what I am, The hive will follow, unless we find a way to contain it again. Eli looked down at his wristband, glowing faintly in the dark. He didn't understand it. He didn't trust it. But he knew one thing: he couldn't leave her here to die. Then we find a way, he said. Lyra looked at him for a long moment. Then she smiled softly. Humans, she whispered. Always choosing the impossible. She turned toward the long corridor ahead. Come on, there's a control deck not far. If we reach it, maybe we can take the ship. Eli followed her, his heart pounding. The band pulsed again, brighter than before, almost as if it heard their plan. As they disappeared into the shadows, the sound of the ship's heartbeat grew louder. And somewhere deep inside the metal walls, something began to whisper. The corridor seemed endless. Every step echoed through the broken ship like a whisper from the dead. Eli walked behind Lyra, his eyes scanning every corner. The glowing band on his wrist lit their path with a soft blue light. It was the only thing that felt alive in that cold darkness. Lyra moved carefully, her silver eyes flicking to every shadow. The ship groaned again, deep and slow, as if something heavy was shifting inside its metal bones. Eli broke the silence. You said this hive, it's inside you. What does that mean? She stopped walking. Her voice came out small and tired. It means I'm not fully me anymore. Eli frowned. You mean it controls you? Not yet, she said. But it tries. It whispers to me when I'm weak. It wants to be free. It wants to feed. Eli's stomach twisted. Feed on what? Her eyes met his. Life, any kind. Yours, mine, everything. For a moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the low hum of dying engines. Then faint voices echoed from far down the hallway, metallic and sharp. Jaren guards, move, Eli whispered. We have to hurry. They pressed on, passing through corridors filled with smoke and flickering lights. Alien symbols glowed red along the walls, changing and pulsing as if the ship itself was afraid. Eli could feel the air getting hotter. The deeper they went, the more unstable the ship felt. He noticed his band's glow flickering strangely, pulsing faster. Lyra, he said, why is this thing reacting? She looked at it with worry. Because they're close. The hive can sense fear. And energy. Great, Eli muttered. So it knows I'm terrified. Lyra gave a faint, sad smile. Then stop being afraid. Before he could answer, the hallway suddenly split open with a loud crack. Metal panels ripped apart as if pulled by invisible claws. A black mist poured from the gap, spreading fast across the walls. It wasn't smoke, it was alive. Eli pulled Lyra back. What is that? Her face went pale. It's the hive. The mist moved like water, flowing toward them, whispering in countless voices. Eli could hear faint words calling his name. Eli. Eli. His skin crawled. He raised his arm and the band glowed bright blue, pushing the mist back slightly. Lyra gasped. Don't use it too much. It will wake more of them. I don't have a choice, he shouted. The mist struck again, faster this time, wrapping around their legs. Eli felt cold pain where it touched, like knives under his skin. Lyra closed her eyes, raising both hands. Light burst from her body, white and silver burning through the mist. The hallway cleared for a moment. She fell to her knees, shaking. We can't fight it for long, she whispered. It's growing stronger. Eli grabbed her arm, helping her stand. Then we move now. They ran through the next passage, turning corners blindly. The walls around them were shaking. Lights exploded above. Finally, they burst into a wide room, dark except for one massive window showing the stars outside. This must have been the ship's main control deck. Eli stopped to catch his breath. We made it, but Lyra didn't answer. She stood still, staring at her reflection in the glass. Her skin flickered like static, and black veins were spreading up her neck. Lyra, he said carefully. She turned to him, her eyes wide. It's too late, she whispered. They're already inside. Eli's blood ran cold. She stumbled back, clutching her chest. Shadows spilled from her hands, crawling up her arms like living smoke. Her voice broke into a scream. It hurts. Eli grabbed her shoulders, trying to hold her steady. Stay with me. You can fight it. I can't, she cried. It's awake. The floor beneath them cracked. Black mist erupted from every corner, swirling around her body. The band on Eli's wrist flashed red, burning his skin. He refused to let go. Lyra, look at me. She did. For a second, her silver eyes returned. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I don't want to hurt you. You won't, Eli said firmly. You're stronger than it. She shook her head. No, it's stronger than everything. Suddenly her voice changed, deeper, echoing with multiple tones. We are hunger. We are the dark between stars. Eli stepped back as her body lifted off the floor. The light around her turned crimson. The window behind her cracked, spreading lines like spider webs. He could feel the hive's presence, massive, ancient, endless. It wasn't just inside her. It was aware of him. The voice came again, not from her mouth, but from everywhere. The human carries the key. The band that binds us. Take it. Eli's heart pounded. The band tightened around his wrist as if it could hear the words. He raised his arm, shouting, "If you want it, come and take it." A blast of dark energy slammed into him, throwing him across the room. He hit the wall hard, gasping for air. Sparks rained down. Lyra screamed again, fighting the shadows inside her. Eli, run! He pulled himself up, refusing. Not without you. Her eyes glowed bright silver one last time. Then save me, she whispered. Before I stop being me. And then silence. The shadows vanished into her body. The light in the room faded. She fell to the ground, unconscious. Eli crawled to her side, his body shaking. The band pulsed faintly, cooling again. He touched her face gently. Don't worry, he whispered. I'll find a way. But deep down, he knew something terrible. The hive wasn't gone. The silence after the storm was worse than the noise. Eli sat on the cold metal floor beside Lyra's body, trying to calm his shaking hands. The control room lights flickered dimly, turning her silver skin pale and ghost-like. Her chest rose and fell slowly. She was alive, but for how long he didn't know. He could still feel the hive inside the air, whispering faintly. The voices were quieter now, but not gone. They were watching, waiting. Eli took a deep breath and forced himself to move. He checked the control panels around the room. Most were dead, melted by energy surges, but one screen still flickered weakly. Alien symbols danced across it, red and unreadable. He tapped random keys, hoping for something useful. Instead, the ship spoke in a robotic alien voice, cold and emotionless. Containment breach in Sector 5. Core instability. Critical. Evacuation recommended. Eli didn't need translation. The ship was dying. He turned to Lyra. Hey, wake up. She didn't move. He shook her gently. Come on, Lyra, you're not leaving me here alone. Finally, her eyes fluttered open. They were dull now, half silver, half black.
Eli, she whispered.
You shouldn't stay. I'm not going anywhere without you, he said. Tell me how to stop this hive thing before it kills us both. Lyra tried to sit up but winced in pain. The band on your wrist, she said weakly. It's more than a lock. It's a link. If the hive takes me, it will use that to reach you. Then how do I cut it off? He asked, her eyes widened in fear. No, don't ever take it off. If you do, the link will open both ways. It will break free. Eli clenched his jaw. So I'm stuck with it. Before she could answer, a loud crash came from the hallway outside. Metal twisted and screamed. The door bent inward like soft clay. Something heavy slammed it again, harder this time. Lyra's face went pale. They found us. Eli grabbed a broken rifle from the floor. It hummed weakly, half dead but still usable. He aimed it at the door, heart racing. The third hit tore the door open. Smoke rushed in, followed by a Jaren officer, larger than any Eli had seen before. Its armor shimmered with strange dark energy. Its red eyes locked on Lyra immediately. Containment unit located, the creature hissed. Destroy the human. Retrieve the vessel, Eli fired. Blue plasma bolts tore through the air. The alien dodged easily, moving with terrifying speed. One swipe of its claw shattered the rifle and threw Eli backward. Pain exploded across his ribs. He hit the wall and gasped, struggling to breathe. The alien turned toward Lyra, raising a long spear crackling with black energy. Lyra crawled back, eyes wide with terror. Please, she whispered, don't. The alien struck Eli, didn't think, he just moved. He jumped forward, tackling the creature mid-swing. The spear slashed the wall instead, leaving a deep burning scar. The Jaren snarled and threw Eli off like a rag doll. But as it reached for Lyra again, the band on Eli's wrist flared bright blue. Blinding light filled the room. The alien froze mid-step, its armor smoking. The band pulsed harder, faster, until it sent a shockwave through the air. The alien screamed, twisting and burning, before collapsing into a pile of molten armor. Eli stood there panting, staring at the smoking corpse. What did I just do? Lyra's voice trembled. You used the band's full power. But now it knows. He frowned. It knows? She nodded, fear in her voice. The hive, you woke it. A low rumble spread through the ship. The lights flickered red, then black. The window behind them shattered, sealing instantly as the emergency system kicked in. The sound of the hive filled the air. Millions of whispers all speaking at once. Eli's vision blurred. The band burned his wrist like fire. He fell to his knees, gripping it tightly. Eli! Lyra shouted, crawling to him. You have to resist it. Don't let it in. He clenched his teeth. It's inside my head. He could hear things, memories that weren't his, voices older than time. They promised power, victory, immortality. He saw galaxies burning, planets falling. He saw humans fighting until their last breath. He shouted, Get out of my mind! The light from the band exploded again, throwing Lyra back. The floor cracked beneath him, then silence. The lights flickered back on, weak and dying. Eli's body shook, sweat dripping down his face. The band's glow had faded to a dim, steady blue again. Lyra crawled to him. You stopped it? For now, he laughed weakly. Yeah, great, I'm possessed by an alien god thing and we're stuck on a dying ship. Perfect day. Lyra looked at him with pain in her eyes. You don't understand. The hive won't stop. It wants freedom, and it wants you now. Eli forced himself to stand. Then it picked the wrong human. Outside, through the broken glass, the stars burned brighter. The ship was falling toward a nearby planet, its engines on fire. Lyra's voice trembled. If the ship crashes, the hive will spread. We can't let that happen. Eli nodded, staring at the glowing band. Then we take control of the ship. Or die trying. She stared at him like she couldn't believe his words. You really are human, she whispered. He smirked faintly. And that's your problem. The floor tilted sharply, throwing them both to the side. The ship was going down fast. The desperate fight wasn't over. It had just begun. The ship screamed as it fell through space. Fire rolled along its broken wings, lighting the stars with streaks of orange. Every deck trembled under the pressure. Alarms wailed, echoing like dying cries. Eli held onto a metal rail as gravity twisted around him. Sparks flew across the control deck. Lyra clung to the wall, her skin glowing faintly through the smoke. We're falling into the planet's atmosphere, she shouted. The engines are gone. Eli looked out the cracked window. Below them was a vast red world, half desert, half storm. It looked dead. It looked hungry. How do we stop this thing? He shouted. Lyra's voice shook. We can't stop it. But we can slow it if we reach the reactor room. Eli nodded and ran toward the exit, grabbing her arm. Then let's move before we burn. They ran down the slanted hallway, dodging debris and falling panels. The walls glowed hot. The band on Eli's wrist pulsed faster, brighter, almost like it was afraid. As they turned a corner, the floor suddenly split open. Fire burst up between them. Eli jumped back, coughing from the smoke. Lyra, he shouted. She was on the other side, gripping a rail. The gap between them was wide and growing wider as the ship tore apart. Go, she screamed. Don't wait for me. Not a chance, he yelled back. He scanned the wall, found a dangling cable and swung across, landing hard beside her. She looked at him, eyes wide with shock. You're insane, he smirked. Yeah, humans do that. They continued down the passage until they reached a sealed door marked with alien symbols. The walls around it glowed red and a strange humming filled the air. Lyra pressed her hand against the panel, whispering in her language. The door slid open with a hiss. Inside was the reactor room. A swirling orb of light floated in the center, contained by glowing rings. It was beautiful and deadly. The core pulsed like a living heart, blue and unstable. Lyra stared at it. If we overload it, the ship will explode before the hive can escape. Eli frowned. Explode? As in kill us? Yes, she said quietly. But it will save the planet below. He looked down at his band. The light was flickering now, unstable. And this thing? What happens to it? She hesitated. It's connected to me. If the ship dies, it might die too. He met her eyes. And if it doesn't? She looked away. Then the hive lives on. Through you. Eli stepped closer, lowering his voice. There has to be another way. There isn't, she whispered. The hive was born from energy. Only more energy can destroy it. The explosion might burn it out completely. He took a long breath, his mind spinning. Might, huh? Great odds. Lyra reached for the control console, her hands shaking. Eli, if it starts to spread again. If I lose control, stop, he said. You'll be fine, her voice cracked. If I'm not, promise me you'll do what's necessary. Before he could answer, the entire room trembled. Black veins crawled along the reactor walls, spreading like roots. The hive was waking again. Lyra gasped and clutched her head. It's inside. It's in the ship. Eli grabbed her by the shoulders. Stay with me. You can fight it. She shook violently. Her skin flickered between silver and black. Her voice broke into a cry. Eli, please don't take it off. He looked at her wrist, her body glowing, the hive screaming through her voice, and then at his own band pulsing wildly. It burned so hot he could smell his skin. He shouted over the noise, if I don't, it'll kill you. Her eyes filled with tears. If you take it off, it'll kill everything. But he couldn't watch her suffer. The light in her body was tearing her apart. The hive's black mist surrounded her like a storm. He made his choice. I'm sorry, Lyra. He grabbed the band and tore it from his wrist. Instantly, the light exploded, blinding, burning, the air filled with screaming voices that weren't human. The ship shook violently. Every screen shattered. Lyra's eyes went wide. She screamed as the hive burst free, black and red energy spiraling out from her body like fire. Eli fell backward, covering his face. The walls melted. Gravity disappeared. Everything turned white and then black again. Through the chaos, he saw her, floating in midair, surrounded by shadows that looked like living smoke. Her voice echoed, both hers and not hers. You shouldn't have done that. The hive's voice rolled through the air, deep and endless. Now we are free. Eli's heart pounded. He grabbed a loose cable and pulled himself toward the reactor. The control panel flickered, damaged but still alive. He looked at Lyra, half her face human, half shadow. Then I'll finish what I started. He slammed his hand on the control switch. The reactor screamed, Eli! Lyra's voice broke through the noise. Stop, you'll die. He smiled weakly. Yeah, but so will you. The core flared bright white. The ship cracked apart. And in that final moment, Lyra reached for him through the storm of light. Eli, forgive me. Then everything vanished into fire, silence, then breath. A weak, broken breath in a sea of darkness. Eli opened his eyes to chaos. The ship was gone. The walls, the floor, everything had been torn apart by the explosion. He floated in open space, surrounded by burning fragments of the Jaran cruiser. The stars looked close enough to touch. The red planet below glowed like a sleeping giant. His body ached everywhere. His suit was half melted, his helmet cracked. Somehow he was still alive. He tried to move his arm. The band gone. His wrist was burned raw where it used to be, and then he heard it. Faint whispers across the comm, though his radio was dead. The voices were not human. They were everywhere inside his head. We are awake. We are hunger. You freed us, Eli clenched his teeth. Not yet, he muttered. He spotted a large wrecked section of the ship spinning nearby. A faint blue light blinked inside, still active. He kicked toward it, using his broken thruster pack to push through floating debris. When he reached the wreck, he pulled himself inside through a jagged hole. The metal was hot and sharp, cutting into his gloves. The light came from a broken reactor core. It was half destroyed but still pulsing with unstable energy. A single console flickered weakly beside it. Eli limped closer, coughing from the thin air. His voice cracked as he whispered, Lyra. No answer. Only static and the echo of the hive's whispers. He sat against the wall, exhausted. You're gone, aren't you? But deep inside his mind, a faint voice replied, soft, trembling, familiar. Eli, he froze. Lyra? I can't hold it much longer, her voice said.
The hive is inside me now.
It's spreading, using the energy you released. He gripped the console, staring at the reactor. Tell me how to stop it. There was a pause. Then her voice came again, weak but steady. If you overload the remaining core, it'll draw the hive's energy back inside, into one place. Then destroy it completely. Eli looked at the core. The warning symbols on the screen flashed red, unreadable but clear in meaning, critical overload possible. He swallowed hard. And the blast? It will consume everything in orbit, including you, Lyra said softly. He laughed under his breath, bitter and tired. Figures. She hesitated, her voice shaking. You shouldn't have taken it off. You gave it what it wanted. Eli looked at his burned wrist. Yeah, but maybe I can take it back. He stood up, ignoring the pain. The control console was damaged, its screen cracked, but a few buttons still worked. He began pressing them slowly, trying to make sense of the alien symbols. The whispers in his head grew louder. "Stop, human. You will burn with us. We are endless," Eli grinned weakly. "You've never met a human before, have you?" He slammed his fist onto the final control key. The reactor roared to life, glowing bright blue. Energy swirled like a storm inside the core. Outside the wreckage, pieces of debris began to drift toward it, drawn in by invisible force. The hive's black mist poured through space, twisting and screaming, rushing toward the light. Eli could see them, countless shadow-like forms stretching across the stars, merging into a single swirling mass around the reactor. Inside his head, the hive screamed, "You cannot destroy us!" He shouted back, "Watch me." The reactor's light grew brighter. The console sparked and caught fire. Alarms screamed in an alien tongue. The entire wreck shook. Lyra's voice echoed faintly. "Eli, you don't have to do this." "Yes, I do," he whispered. "If I don't, humanity's next, then—" "Thank you," she said. Her voice was calm now, almost peaceful. "I'll stay with you till the end." The light around him turned white. He felt his body lift off the floor, weightless, surrounded by power beyond imagination. The hive's voices turned to screams, twisting, breaking apart. He saw flashes, cities on fire, soldiers fighting, 1,000 human faces. He saw Lyra's smile. He saw Earth, and then he saw nothing but light. Eli pressed his hand against the reactor's surface. The metal burned, but he didn't let go. "This is for all of us," he whispered. The final surge erupted, a blinding wave that swallowed everything. Silence followed. For a moment, the stars vanished behind the explosion. The debris disintegrated into dust. The hive's black mist dissolved into pure light, fading until only the emptiness of space remained. When it was over, the red planet below was calm again. No shadows, no ships, no hive, just peace. Far away, inside the drifting fragments of the wreck, a single piece of metal floated slowly, a cracked wristband, still glowing faint blue, and within that light, a soft voice whispered faintly through the void, "You freed me, Eli." Then the light went out. Silence returned to the stars. For a long time there was nothing. No movement, no sound, no life. Only the drifting pieces of a broken warship, fading slowly into the black. The explosion that consumed the hive had burned brighter than a sunrise. Then just as suddenly it vanished, leaving behind quiet emptiness. But far below, on the red planet's dusty surface, something stirred. A small escape pod, half buried in sand, blinked with a weak blue light. Its hatch hissed open. A cloud of steam drifted into the cold air. Inside, a woman gasped awake. Lyra's eyes opened to the dying light of a strange sky. Her silver skin was cracked and dull, her body weak. She tried to move but collapsed back onto the seat. Pain spread through every nerve. She looked around in confusion. The pod was silent. The control screens flickered with static. The crash had saved her, but she didn't know how, and then she remembered. Eli. Her breath caught. Memories rushed back like broken glass. His voice, his courage, his hand tearing off the band to save her. The light, the fire, the end. "Eli," she whispered. She crawled toward the broken window and looked up at the stars. Where the ship had been, there was only emptiness. For a moment, she thought she saw something. A faint, glowing dust trail fading across the sky. It looked almost like a heartbeat. Tears filled her eyes. "You did it," she said softly. "You really did it." The hive was gone. She could feel it. The silence inside her mind where the whispers once lived. The hunger was gone too. The universe felt quiet again. But quiet didn't mean safe. Lyra staggered out of the pod, her bare feet sinking into the red sand. The wind blew softly across the desert, carrying the smell of dust and ash. Above her, the remains of the ship drifted through the atmosphere like falling stars. She stood there for a long time, staring up, waiting for a sign, any sign, that Eli had survived. Nothing. She sank to her knees. For the first time in her life, she felt truly alone. Then something small rolled down the dune beside her, a round piece of metal half buried in sand, glinting in the light. Her heart stopped. It was the band. She reached for it with shaking hands. It was cracked, blackened, but still pulsing faintly, one slow beat every few seconds. "Eli," she whispered again. The band flickered brighter for an instant, and a faint voice echoed through the air. so soft it almost wasn't there. Lyra, her eyes widened. Eli, you're alive. But the voice didn't come from outside. It came from inside the band, not, really, he said, his voice weak, distant. Part of me stayed behind. With the light, Lyra clutched the band to her chest. You saved us. You destroyed the hive, it's gone. There was a pause. Then Eli's voice came again, almost like a smile hidden in the sound. Good, then it was worth it. Her tears fell freely now. Why didn't you let me die with you? He chuckled faintly. Because you deserve to live. Someone has to tell them that humans kept their promise. She closed her eyes, trembling. Tell who? Everyone, he said softly. Every world that thinks humanity is weak. Every empire that calls us primitive. Tell them we fight for more than survival. His voice began to fade, softer and softer. Tell them we fight for each other. The light on the band flickered slower. Eli, wait, she cried. Don't leave me, Lyra, he whispered. Please, don't take it off, and then silence. The band stopped glowing. Lyra held it tightly in both hands, pressing it against her heart. The wind howled around her, carrying the last echo of his words through the empty desert. She stayed there until night fell. The stars above shimmered, endless, peaceful, alive. In one corner of the sky, a faint blue light flickered for a moment, like a soul returning home. Lyra smiled through her tears. You're still watching, aren't you? She whispered. The night answered with silence, and a single breeze brushing past her cheek, soft as a hand saying goodbye. She stood, looking up at the stars again, her voice steady now. Rest, human. The galaxy will remember you. She turned and began walking across the red sand toward the horizon, the broken band still glowing faintly in her palm. Behind her, the escape pod's light finally went dark, and somewhere, deep within the void between stars, and a whisper remained. Humanity endures.